My friends, let me remind you of a truth that escapes so many in their pursuit of success. Goals alone will never bring you the life you desire. A goal is like a seed, but without fertile soil, consistent watering, and the right environment, it cannot grow. Too many people set lofty goals, dream big dreams, and write down their ambitions, but they fail to build the system that makes those dreams possible. That is why they start with passion, but sooner or later, their energy fades, their willpower weakens, and their goal becomes a burden instead of a beacon. You see, goals are useful. They give you direction. They provide you with a target. But a goal without a system is like aiming an arrow without a bow. You may know where you want to go, but you lack the instrument to get there. The real secret lies not in the goal itself, but in the structure you create around your daily life that pulls you toward that goal almost without effort. Success is never about intensity for a single day. It is about consistency over a lifetime. That consistency can only be guaranteed by a system. Think about the difference between a person who decides to get wealthy by wishing and hoping, and a person who creates a methodical system of saving, investing, and multiplying their resources. One depends on bursts of motivation. The other depends on a proven pattern that works regardless of mood or circumstance. The second will win every single time. Why? Because the system doesn't ask whether you feel like it today or whether you are motivated tomorrow. The system is already in place. It operates like a machine, producing results step by step. When you look at those who achieve remarkable things, you might think they are blessed with extraordinary talent or extraordinary opportunities. But if you study carefully, you will see that behind their results lies a method, a discipline, a set of repeated actions that compound over time. Their victories are not sudden miracles. They are the natural harvest of seeds planted daily within a reliable structure. This is what separates the dreamers from the doers. The dreamer imagines what could be, while the doer builds the process that makes it inevitable. Now, here is something vital to understand. Motivation is fleeting. Inspiration rises and falls. But a system, once it is built, does not rely on the fragile state of your emotions. It carries you forward even on days when your energy is low. Imagine a farmer who plants crops only when he feels inspired. What would his harvest look like? Yet imagine another farmer who, regardless of mood, tends to his fields each day by habit, by discipline, by system. Who do you think will reap the greater harvest? That is the difference between those who live by goals alone and those who build systems to achieve them. Let me illustrate further. Suppose you wish to improve your health. A goal might say, I will lose 20 pounds. But a system says, I will design my daily meals in advance. I will schedule my workouts 3 times a week. I will create an environment that makes health automatic. The system ensures that each day moves you closer to the outcome, and in time, the goal takes care of itself. Or think of the writer who says, I want to publish a book. If all he has is the goal, he will wait for inspiration. But if he builds a system of writing 500 words every morning, within months he has a manuscript. The goal is accomplished because the system made it inevitable. What I am telling you is this: success is not about setting the finish line. It is about laying down the track that guarantees you arrive there. Too many people worship the idea of the destination, but they never take time to build the vehicle that carries them. They imagine the mansion, the wealth, the recognition, but they do not establish the habits, the routines, and the disciplines that make these results flow naturally. That is why their dreams remain dreams. Without a system, success is like chasing the wind. With a system, success becomes a certainty. And here lies the beauty of it. Once your system is built, the pressure lifts. You are no longer relying on raw effort each day. The system begins to carry you. Just as the river flows effortlessly once its course has been carved, so too does your life flow effortlessly once your system is established. You may still work, but it will no longer feel like struggle. It will feel like momentum. That is when you begin to see your future unfolding with ease, because the system is already creating it for you. But you must make a choice. Will you continue to chase temporary motivation, setting goals that fade as quickly as they are spoken? Or will you invest the time to design the system that will carry you regardless of circumstance? Understand that once the system is in place, it becomes harder to fail than to succeed. That is the true power of structure. So I urge you, stop placing all your faith in goals alone. Instead, build the habits, create the routines, and establish the environment that makes achievement inevitable. Once you do this, you will no longer wonder if your dreams will come true. You will know they must. And remember, this closing truth: goals point the way, but only systems pave the road. If you are truly serious about success, then you must understand the power of organized planning. Dreams without structure are nothing more than wishes, and wishes will never build the life you desire. Too many people live with vague intentions, saying to themselves, "One day I will achieve this, one day I will have that," but they never take the step of translating that vision into a plan that can be acted upon. Success never comes to those who are waiting passively. It comes to those who organize their ideas, put them into definite form, and execute them with precision. A plan is not simply a list of tasks. It is a blueprint for your future, a map that ensures every action is aligned with your larger vision. Without a plan, you are like a ship drifting on the sea, tossed about by waves, at the mercy of the winds. With a plan, you are the captain charting the course, steering with confidence, and moving toward your chosen destination regardless of the storms around you. A plan brings clarity, and clarity is the foundation of power. Now let me tell you something important. It is not enough to have a single plan. You must also be prepared with alternatives, for the road of success is rarely straight. Obstacles will appear, conditions will change, and unforeseen circumstances will challenge you. But if you have organized your planning wisely, you will have more than one path to your destination. You will adapt, you will adjust, and you will continue moving forward. The person who plans carefully is never defeated by temporary setbacks. He understands that failure is only feedback, and he uses that feedback to refine his plan until it works. Think of the builder who desires to construct a magnificent home. Would he simply arrive at the land with bricks and boards, hoping inspiration will show him where to place each piece? No, he first creates a detailed design, a clear blueprint, and organizes every material, every tool, every worker around that plan. Only then does the home take shape. In the same way, you must design your life with precision. Hoping and trying without structure leads to wasted effort. But planning, organized and definite, ensures that each action moves you closer to your dream. When you organize your planning, you take control of your destiny. You decide not only what you want, but how you will achieve it, when you will achieve it, and what resources you will need along the way. You begin to see opportunities that others miss because your mind is focused and prepared. Have you ever noticed that when you set a definite intention, suddenly possibilities seem to appear everywhere? It is not magic. It is the power of your mind, directed and organized, filtering the world for what will serve your purpose. Planning activates this power and channels it into action. Let us consider those who rise to great success in business, in art, in science, in leadership. You may be tempted to think they are gifted with rare genius, but study them closely, and you will find that behind their accomplishments lies a foundation of organized planning. Their victories are not random. They thought ahead. They anticipated challenges. They built strategies and systems that allowed them to act with confidence while others hesitated. They knew where they were going long before the world recognized their achievement. But here is a truth many overlook. A plan that remains in your head is not a plan at all. It must be written down, made definite, placed on paper, and broken into steps that can be measured. The act of writing brings order to thought. It forces clarity. It transforms vague desires into specific intentions. Once written, a plan becomes a contract with yourself. It becomes something you can review, refine, and hold yourself accountable to. Without this step, Ideas slip away, enthusiasm fades, and procrastination takes over. With this step, your plan becomes alive, tangible, and undeniable. Of course, no plan is complete without action. A perfect plan on paper is useless unless you execute it with discipline. Organized planning is not about perfection. It is about progression. It is about taking your vision, structuring it into definite steps, and then moving on those steps day after day. Too many people wait for the perfect conditions before they act, and they remain stuck forever. The wise person knows that conditions will never be perfect, but progress can always be made. The plan guides the way, but it is your consistent action that breathes life into it. You may ask yourself, what if my plan fails? What if I put all this effort into organizing and it does not work? My answer is simple: then you will create another plan and another until you succeed. Failure is never the end for the one who plans with determination. Each setback reveals what does not work, bringing you closer to what does. Organized planning turns failure into a stepping stone. It transforms disappointment into data and mistakes into mastery. Those who persist with planning cannot be defeated, for they are always learning, always adjusting, always moving forward. Remember, this clarity creates confidence, and confidence creates action. When you know exactly what to do, hesitation disappears. Planning gives you that clarity. It removes the fog of uncertainty and replaces it with certainty of direction. And once you move with certainty, others will follow you, doors will open for you, and opportunities will be attracted to you. The world respects those who know where they are going and have a plan to get there. So I urge you not to leave your future to chance. Do not drift with the tides of circumstance. Organize your planning. Write it, refine it, act upon it, and when obstacles arise, adjust it. Let your plan be the compass that guides your every step. With it, you will never be lost. With it, you will move steadily, confidently, and inevitably toward your vision. And always remember this closing truth: dreams become reality only when organized planning transforms them into definite action. Growth, real and lasting growth, is never the result of chance. It is the product of discipline, repeated actions, and habits that, over time, carry you far beyond where willpower alone could ever take you. So many people believe that success depends on bursts of energy, moments of inspiration, or sudden breakthroughs. But that is a mistaken belief. True success does not arrive in a flash. It is built quietly, patiently, through small, consistent habits that seem ordinary at first, but compound into something extraordinary. Think of your daily life as a system of cause and effect. What you do each day, even the smallest action, sets into motion a chain of consequences. If your habits are scattered and undisciplined, your results will be scattered and unpredictable. But if your habits are deliberate, focused, and aligned with your goals, your results become not only predictable but inevitable. Discipline is the foundation. Habit is the engine. Together they create a force that makes growth seem almost effortless. Discipline, at its core, is simply doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Feelings are fleeting. Some days you may be filled with energy and determination, and other days you may feel tired or distracted. But discipline does not bow to feelings. Discipline is the decision that your future is more important than your mood. It is the commitment to show up, to do the work, and to repeat it consistently. Without discipline, habits cannot be formed. Without habits, systems fall apart. And without systems, growth is left to chance. Now, once discipline is established, something remarkable happens. Actions repeated with discipline transform into habits. Habits are powerful because they remove the need for constant decision-making. Instead of asking, "Should I do this today?" the habit answers for you. It becomes automatic, like breathing, like walking. At first, it requires effort. But soon the habit takes over, and what once felt difficult now feels natural. This is the secret to effortless growth. You no longer fight against yourself, because your habits carry you forward. Consider the individual who desires financial security. If he depends on willpower alone, he may save money some months and neglect it in others. His progress will be inconsistent, and his results uncertain. But if he builds the habit of saving a portion of every income like clockwork, he no longer struggles with the decision. The habit works for him. Over time, wealth accumulates naturally. Or think of the person striving for health. Without habits, he may exercise one week and abandon it the next. But with the habit firmly in place, exercise becomes as normal as brushing his teeth. The results accumulate effortlessly because the system of discipline and habit is already established. What many fail to see is that habits compound. A single disciplined choice may seem small, but repeated over days, weeks, months, and years, it multiplies into extraordinary outcomes. A man does not become strong after one visit to the gym, but after many visits made into a habit. Strength becomes inevitable. A writer does not complete a book in a single sitting, but through the habit of writing daily, the book appears almost naturally. Habits create compounding growth, and that is why they are more powerful than motivation or intention alone. It is important to understand that the habits you form will either serve you or sabotage you. Negative habits, repeated with the same consistency, will lead you just as predictably toward failure as positive habits lead you toward success. That is why discipline in the beginning is so crucial. You must choose your habits carefully, for once established, they will choose your future. Every action you repeat is a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. If you want to know what your future looks like, look at your daily habits. They reveal more about your destiny than any dream or wish ever could. Now, some will say, but discipline feels so hard. And yes, in the beginning it may. But here is the truth: discipline is only painful until habit takes over. Once a habit is formed, discipline feels lighter, because the action is no longer forced. It becomes natural. The man who at first struggles to wake early soon finds it easier than staying in bed. The woman who once fought to resist temptation now finds it easier to choose health than to indulge. Discipline builds the bridge, and habit makes the journey effortless. This is the very essence of growth without struggle. Systems of discipline and habit create a kind of autopilot for success. You no longer need to summon massive amounts of willpower each day. You no longer need to battle endlessly with yourself. The system you built now works for you, carrying you forward whether you notice it or not. Like a river carving its course, habits shape your life continuously, quietly, and powerfully. And just as a river never stops flowing, neither do your habits once they are established. But I must warn you, just as positive habits will create success, neglect and disorder will create decline. You cannot rise above the level of your habits. If you neglect them, your system weakens and your growth halts. That is why it is not enough to start strong, you must continue. Renewal of discipline, reinforcement of habits, and vigilance in your daily actions are the keys to sustained growth. When you commit to this, your progress is not only steady but unstoppable. The beauty of discipline and habit is that they belong to anyone who chooses them. You do not need special talent or luck. You do not need to wait for inspiration. Every person can choose to discipline themselves, to form habits aligned with their vision, and to allow those habits to carry them toward greatness. Success is not reserved for the gifted. It is reserved for the disciplined. So I say to you, do not wait for motivation to strike, for it will not last. Instead, build discipline. Create habits. Repeat them daily until they form the system that will drive your life forward. Once you do this, growth will no longer feel like a battle. It will feel inevitable, natural, and effortless. And never forget this closing truth: discipline builds habits. Habits build systems, and systems make success automatic. The greatest power you possess is the ability to see the future before it arrives. Not with your eyes, but with your imagination, your vision, and your certainty of purpose. Most people live only in the present moment, reacting to circumstances as they come, tossed about by events they cannot control. They move through life like travelers with no destination, wondering why they never arrive anywhere meaningful. But the one who builds systems, the one who disciplines himself with habits and plans, begins to see his future as clearly as if it already exists. He does not wait to be surprised by life. He shapes life in advance. When you create a strong foundation, the future is no longer something uncertain or frightening. It becomes something predictable, something dependable, something you can almost touch before it appears. Just as the farmer knows that a field sown with good seed, nurtured with care, and protected with diligence, will one day produce a harvest, you too can know with absolute certainty that your efforts, planted within a system, will bring forth results in their season. The farmer does not question whether the harvest will come. He knows it. He trusts the laws of nature. In the same way, when you put your system into place, when your discipline and habits are aligned with your plan, you can trust the laws of success. Too many people live in constant doubt, asking, will I make it? Will I succeed? And because they doubt, they hesitate. Because they hesitate, they fail to act. And because they fail to act, their doubt becomes their reality. But the individual who has built his system lives with a different kind of confidence. He no longer asks, will I succeed? He knows he will succeed because the structure of his daily life guarantees it. The habits are already moving him forward. The plan is already guiding his steps. The system is already producing results, even if those results are not visible yet. Let me tell you something important. The future is created long before it is seen. The outcomes you will live tomorrow are determined by the choices you make today. If you choose disorder today, you will live with chaos tomorrow. If you choose discipline today, you will live with confidence tomorrow. The future is not a mystery, it is a reflection. It mirrors back to you what you consistently put into it. That is why vision is so powerful. When you see your future clearly, and you build a system to support it, you are no longer chasing possibilities. You are living with inevitabilities. Imagine the peace of mind this brings. No more waking in the morning filled with worry about what the day may bring. No more confusion about whether your dreams will come true. Instead, you rise with certainty because your system is already at work. Your habits are already in motion. Your future is no longer something to chase. It is something unfolding step by step in front of you. This certainty frees your mind from fear and fills it with focus. And with focus, your energy is magnified. You accomplish more in a single year than most do in a lifetime of wandering. But let us go deeper. The ability to see the future is not just about certainty. It is about creation. When you build a system, you are not merely predicting your success. You are designing it. You are shaping it in advance. Think of the architect who looks at a barren piece of land. To others, it is empty space. But in his mind, the building already stands there, clear and detailed. He knows what materials will be used, what the rooms will look like, and how the structure will endure for generations. By the time the first brick is laid, the building already exists in his vision. And so it is with your life. When your vision is clear, and your plan is organized, and your habits are steady, your future is already real. It is only waiting for time to catch up. This is why success appears effortless to some. It is not because life gives them special favors. It is because they have built their future in advance. They have rehearsed it in their mind, written it in their plans, carved it into their habits, and trusted it in their systems. So when the world finally sees their success, it looks sudden, it looks magical, but it is neither sudden nor magical. It is simply the unfolding of a future they already saw long ago. Now, let me be clear, to see your future does not mean you will know every detail of the journey. Life will still surprise you. Challenges will still come. But when you have a vision, a plan, and a system, these surprises no longer threaten your destiny. They are only detours along the way, not dead ends. The vision keeps you moving forward, the plan keeps you on track, the system keeps you disciplined, and the habits keep you strong. With these in place, nothing can truly stop you. The future you saw will still arrive, because you built it to withstand anything. Think of the great achievers in history. They did not stumble upon their success by accident. They saw it before others did. They believed in it when no one else could. And then, step by step, They built it until it became real. You have the same power. You can see your future before it arrives. You can decide what it will look like, and you can create it with certainty by building the right system today. So ask yourself, do you want to live a future of uncertainty, drifting wherever life takes you? Or do you want to live a future of certainty, where each day's actions are already paving the road toward your dream? The choice is yours, but the truth remains the same. Whatever system you build today will decide the future you see tomorrow. And never forget this closing truth. When the foundation is strong, the future grows naturally and effortlessly.